hope in the context of us and their social media account that we're exposing that that people have allowed this to be normalized. They've allowed the president of the United States to act like a 6-year-old, and somehow it's been accepted. And so this is, really what we're trying to do is we're trying to punch back a little bit of sense of humor. I think that's important. Democrats, let's bring a little sense of humor to this. It's a cultural issue. He wins on the culture. He plays in that space. Democrats need to play in that space. So I'm trying to iterate here. I'm trying to punch above my weight a little bit. I'm humble enough. There's enough grace to understand. I'm one person trying to respond to this moment, trying to take some accountability, responsibility, and just try new things, see what works. And I just encourage every Democrat out there, you don't have to be in elected office, all of us, to do the same, because it's not normal what's going on. It's not. Every day, something extraordinary happens. And we can't say, well, we're not surprised. When we say we're not surprised, we're accepting it. We're complicit. And so this whole effort is really about a pattern interrupt. It's about being held to account. It's about putting a line in the sand and saying we're not going to cross it. Enough.
Protests continue in Washington, D.C., opposing President Trump's federal takeover and military occupation of the Capitol. On Thursday, Trump paid a visit to hundreds of National Guard troops and federal law enforcement agents deployed to the district, delivering pizza and hamburgers to them and praising their crackdown, which the White House says has netted some 600 arrests since early August. Hundreds of immigrants have also been arrested in Washington, D.C. in recent days, as Immigration and Customs Enforcement agents are now accompanying police officers on traffic stops, targeting delivery workers on mopeds. ICE agents are reportedly using driver's license, registration, and insurance information to determine the immigration status of people stopped by police. Over 200 immigrants have been arrested since Trump's federal takeover of D.C., according to the White House. The shift violates D.C.'s sanctuary policies, which restrict collaboration between local police and federal immigration agencies. This comes as the Pentagon's recruiting civilian employees to join Trump's crackdown on immigrants, asking them to voluntarily enlist to aid in immigration raids.
Has a new idea for bollocksing up the midterm elections. And it's an idea that he says he got from his best friend, the guy he once said he wanted to be his best friend. On Friday, President Trump held a summit in Alaska with Vladimir Putin. Immediately after that summit, Trump said Putin gave him some advice on how to conduct elections here in our country. Putin says that people shouldn't be allowed to vote by mail. He says he got that idea from Putin. And so today, Trump says that he will sign an executive order barring Americans nationwide from voting by mail and potentially banning voting machines as well. Now, I would caution you, again, as always, to watch what he actually does here and not just what he says he is going to do. But if Trump is essentially taking tactical advice from the Russian dictator Vladimir Putin about how to hold something that looks like an election but isn't actually an election, as an answer to the existential question for American democracy, this is a little bit on the nose, right? Here's how historian and journalist Garrett Graff summed up what's at stake. He wrote today, quote, "This is step one on how we lose free and fair elections. It's not that Trump will cancel the midterms. It's just that everyone has to vote in person, and urban downtowns will be filled with ICE checkpoints and intimidating National Guard troops to, quote, double check that only citizens vote." Will we retain the right to replace our leaders by election?
I think it's really important for people to remember that Ghislaine Maxwell is a sex trafficker of children, young girls, and women. She is a liar. She cannot be trusted. She wants a pardon or reduced sentence from Donald Trump. And the person conducting that interview was Donald Trump's former personal lawyer. Give me a break. We should believe nothing that this woman says. And it's also real interesting that a lot of Republicans today are somehow uplifting this interview as a moment of disclosure, when the Oversight Committee, Democrats and Republicans, have been asking for Ghislaine Maxwell to actually be deposed, to actually be in front of tough folks asking her real questions about the files, about her relationships, And that, of course, has been denied and pushed back by James Comer because he doesn't want real questions being asked of Ghislaine Maxwell. Instead, they want to continue this cover-up where she essentially gets softball questions from Trump's Department of Justice, his personal lawyer, and then on top of all that, gets moved to a different facility, so she's in much softer conditions. So this release today, again, is to also distract from the broader question of why Pam Bondi and Donald Trump refused to release the full Epstein files.
I mean, let's cut right through this. This is disgusting. It's shameful. It's inconsistent with the rule of law. And it's also inconsistent with who we say we are as a nation. And every American citizen, every inhabitant of this country should be offended by what this administration is doing. But beyond that, every citizen in this country ought to be afraid, because the reality is if they are successful in doing this to immigrants, and now they're doing things against American citizens, as you talked about before, who criticized the president, it won't be too long. And the president himself has said he had no objections to taking convicted criminals and putting them in the same jail in El Salvador. There's a treadmill that we're potentially getting on here that could result in the erosion of rights for American citizens. Now, I'm not saying that's the only reason that we should be concerned about this. People who are in this country deserve the ability to go before courts and have courts make determinations about whether they can stay, whether they should leave, how they should be treated. And this administration wants to take upon itself, to the derogation of the ability of the courts and certainly of the legislative branch, the ability to decide everything. This is how you get authoritarianism. This is remarkably similar to kind of what happened in Europe in the 30s. It's consistent with what we saw happen in Hungary and in Turkey in later days over the course of the last 10, 15, 20 years. And that's not a path that this country wants to go down. And I want people to understand this. If you don't stand up and fight now, if you don't take a position now, it's going to be too late. We can't say we can wait just a little longer. No, the time is now to stand up and do all that we can to fight this administration. Now.
Donald Trump is waging an attack on the Social Security Administration. And let me explain briefly how they are doing it. Because they know that there will be outrage and an uproar if they actually attack and cut Social Security benefits. So this is what we're doing, and we're in front of a Social Security Administration office. They are cutting offices. They are closing offices, Social Security offices, around the country. They are cutting significantly staff. The Social Security Administration staff was already at a 50-year low before the Trump administration, and now they continue to slash staff. All while they are taking away services that they provide by phone. So imagine, they are saying to recipients of Social Security or those who need help processing their benefits, you cannot call anymore. You have to go to the office and get help, but they're closing the offices and taking away all the staff members who would help you. So they're not saying that they are closing, that they are cutting benefits, but they are making it impossible for people to get benefits. And let's remember, 1% of the Social Security budget comes from administrative costs. The vast majority, nearly all of it, is benefits that come from the money that Americans and those who seeking a better life here pay into it.
Hey, we're at 14th and U. I see it's a pop-up protest. I didn't know about it. I just saw it and pulled up. 14th and U. The message is free DC, fair DC. Also, forever fuck Trump, fuck ICE.
Will not have a country if he rigs this election.
Trump's trying to rig the midterms in much the same way he tried to rig the 2020 election. But California's Governor Gavin Newsom is fighting back.
We have got to meet fire with fire.
After losing Georgia in 2020, Trump called Georgia's Republican Secretary of State and ordered him to find more votes for him.
I just want to find 11,000 780 votes.
This time, on the brink of losing his House majority, Trump called the Republican governor of Texas and ordered him to find 5 more congressional seats by redrawing the maps ahead of the midterms.
Just a very simple redrawing. We pick up 5 seats.
Texas Republicans are jamming through a new gerrymandered map that's expected to flip 5 U.S. House seats from blue to red, even if Republicans don't win a single extra vote. And Trump's pushing Florida, Indiana, Missouri, and Ohio to do the same thing. In response, Newsom is asking Californians to approve a map that would flip some of the Golden State's red seats blue. 3 key facts. Number 1, it's in the hands of California voters. Unlike Texas, California has an independent redistricting commission specifically to eliminate partisan gerrymandering. To override the commission and adopt Newsom's map, Californians must vote to do so in a special election this November. Number 2, this is a strictly defensive measure. If Californians approve it, it only goes into effect if 1 or more red states redraw their own congressional maps. If Texas and other red states abandon their power grab, this all stops right now. Number 3, the new California map would be temporary. If it goes into effect, it would only apply to the 2026, 2028, and 2030 elections. After that, California's independent commission would resume control over the state's congressional map. Other blue states, including Illinois, New Jersey, and New York, have floated their own attempts to counter red state gerrymandering power grabs. There's been some lazy both-sidesism from the media. Let's be clear. Democrats are the anti-gerrymandering party. In 2021, congressional Democrats introduced a bill to ban partisan gerrymandering nationwide. It passed the House with 220 Democratic votes and not a single Republican vote. In the Senate, every Democrat voted for it, but still couldn't break the united Republican filibuster. There is no benefit to Democrats taking a performatively principled stance to impose rules on themselves that Republicans have simply chosen to discard. That would be handing Trump complete power with no limits.
Here we are. It is day 214, and the cost of groceries is up. The cost of utilities is up. The cost of housing is up. And the cost of healthcare is through the roof. And thanks to the Republicans and Donald Trump and the big ugly bill, it's going up even more. So part of what we're going to do is talk about that reality and talk about getting back in the fight, holding Donald Trump and these Republicans accountable. So we're going to be there in Nebraska. Nebraska has 2 Republican senators and 3 Republican congresspeople. All of them voted to cut health care for 15 million people. All of them voted to raise the cost of health care coverage for everybody who's got private insurance. All of them voted for taking money out of the healthcare system so that many rural hospitals will close. All of them voted for that. This is our chance to be right there in Nebraska, to have a town hall with people in Nebraska, and to say to the people of Nebraska, you have power. You have power at the ballot box. You have power to hold these people accountable. And so that's what Saturday is going to be about. You know, Donald Trump thinks everybody should just bow down to him and to his version of reality, that he has stopped 7 wars or 10 wars, that he has done it all. Well, this is about saying we don't bow down. We live in the world of reality, and we want people to represent us who understand that reality. And instead of fighting for Donald Trump, we'll be fighting for us. So that's what we're going to talk about on Saturday. We're going to have a town hall. We're going to hear from people. We're going to deal with their questions and do our best to strengthen democracy in this country, because the truth is we don't bow down.
We're going to be in Omaha, Nebraska for the Won't Back Down tour. hosted by Move On and the Midas Touch Network. You're going to be there. Congressmember Maxwell Frost is going to be there. If people want to get a seat there, it's running out quickly. Go to won'tbackdowntour.com.
They're not even trying to hide it now. The Trump administration is asking the Supreme Court to allow officers to racially profile suspected illegal immigrants in California. Specifically, they want the court to allow ICE officers to arrest people based off how they look, what language they're speaking, and what kind of work they're doing. The literal definition of racial profiling. Let me explain the backstory. In July, a judge ruled that ICE officers were overstepping the legal boundaries in their mass deportations in California. That ruling was upheld by the Ninth Circuit, with the panel saying that federal officers had been arresting people based off racial profiling. So what's the Trump administration going to do? They want the Supreme Court to reverse that decision because they want to be able to do whatever they want. And here's the real truth. The administration hasn't been following the ruling as it exists anyway, especially if you look at what's been happening recently. Like the case where they had ICE agents mass jump out of a truck and start harassing people outside a Home Depot in what they called Operation Trojan Horse. Really clever, guys. The Trump administration hopes the Supreme Court lets them racially profile. They're hoping that the Supreme Court takes off whatever minimal shackles they have, and they're bringing a bunch of new people who are untrained to do this kind of work. It's something we have to be really concerned about, and I think that this is a story we cannot let fall under the radar. Folks need to speak out and say to the administration, in this country, we don't racially profile. If there are people that committed crimes that are in this country illegally, sure, deport them. We cannot target people based on their skin color, how they look, what they look like, or the fact that Stephen Miller wants to go get their ass.
So Trump federalizes the D.C. police force. Let's talk about it. This old Texas Paul, hope your coffee's as good as mine. Hell, I hope it's better. First of all, this is temporary. It'll be about 30 days. Second of all, everybody knows crime is at record lows, historic lows. This is just to throw out something to his really scared, bigoted white base to try to get them excited and talking about anything else, trying to change the discussion from the fact that Trump is in the Epstein files and that his poll numbers are in the shitter because he's wrecked the economy. That's all this is. The Epstein files and the fact that he's wrecked the economy, his foreign policy is a fucking disaster. He's a shitty president. So yeah, he's going to try to do something bizarre that makes no sense. But, Trump will lose interest in it. And what they'll do is the most Republican thing ever is, which they fought us on everything that has actually lowered the crime rate. They've tried to do the red meat shit that never works, that they've tried forever in all of history that's always failed. But Democrats have managed to get a lot through. It's just economically, the great economy we've had under Democrats, that leads to low crime rate. And Republicans are now going to stand up and try to take credit for that. They're going to do this one stupid fucking thing. And at the end of it, they're going to say, oh, look. We did this. Crime is at a 30-year low. We did this. No. Epstein, they wrecked the economy, and they're fucking useless.
It's time for the Trucker John live stream. Gonna be a good time. Oh, yeah. The Trucker John live stream. Come along for a good time. It's a good time, good time, good time, good time. Trucker John live stream. It's gonna be a good time. Gonna be the time of your life. Gonna talk some shit. Hush your mouth. Gonna talk a little smack. Gonna talk whatever comes of it. You're gonna always wanna come back. Well, yeah, it's the Trucker John live stream. He's the biggest, baddest, funniest mother you've ever seen. Watch your mouth, he's headed south. Not even sure what that means, but if it's one thing I know, the Trucker John live stream is the best thing you've ever seen.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, the moment you've been waiting for. Trucker John.
What was that? Oh boy. I don't know what's going on. Can you guys hear me? Test, test, test. Testing. I don't know what's going on. Can you guys hear me? I guess you can hear me. I don't know why the testing. I don't know what's going on. Can you guys hear me? I don't know why the light. I guess you can hear me. I don't know why is flashing. It should just be a solid green, but for some reason it's not. Let's see. Okay, now it's off. Okay, test, 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 test. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So let me try this again. Hello? Hello? Okay, test, 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 test. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so let me try this again. I had the thing plugged in ever since yesterday. I don't know if it's flashing. I don't know if that means the battery is low. I don't know what the hell's going on. I forgot to look for my little makeshift mic stand that I made. And so just now, just a couple minutes before the show was starting, I just got this, basically a chopstick, and I was going to, well, I taped it to this, but what I didn't realize is when I taped it to it, it was pushing the button down. And when I did that, see, I think it went off now. Let's see. Can you guys hear me now? Did I lose sound? Hello, hello, hello. I think I lost the sound. I did that. Testing, testing. Can you guys hear me now? Testing, testing, testing. I think I lost the sound. I did that. Testing, testing. Can you guys hear me now? Oh, you know what? Testing, testing. Okay. I think I lost the sound. All right. It would help if All right. I didn't even have the Bluetooth plugged in. What an idiot. What an idiot. Now you can hear me through this mic. Before you were just hearing me. You were just hearing me through that. Okay, so what I was trying to just do a makeshift thing real quick, and then I realized that when I taped this to the mic, this little stick, that I was inadvertently pushing the button, and I don't think we want to push the button. Button. Who's got the button? So anyhow, I'll just hold it. All right, guys, thanks for putting up with that dumb issue. How you guys doing today? Let's see, what time is it? It's 11:48 a.m. in the beautiful Pacific time, beautiful Las Vegas. It's already 103 degrees. It says 108 is supposed to be the high today. I did see that. I think starting tomorrow we've got a cooling trend, and I think it was Tuesday, I saw that the daytime high is supposed to only be 89 degrees, which sounds a lot like heaven to me. So hopefully we'll be getting some cooling going on here. Anyhow, good morning. Thanks for everyone for coming on in. I do see that Belfast Bob was first, looks like, in the chat room, followed by Linevois. And then One Vision coming in the 3 spot there. So thanks, guys, for coming in and hanging out early and waiting for the show. I know we waited a little bit because, Hal went long. So those of you that are coming from over there, Hal went about an extra 20 minutes. Getting into a really big discussion about the word fight. This is not the first time he's done that. Well, it's not the first time he's gone long, and it's not the first time he's gone off about the fight analogy, which I have, I mean, I can understand the argument, and I think some of the stuff he says makes sense, but I've been listening to Hal for 4 or 5 years now, at least, and this is not the first time I've heard that his going off on the word fight. But yeah, I understand that. I can understand. Maybe we should mix it up a little bit and use different words, and that's why I think sometimes you'll hear politicians say resolve. We have to have resolve, or they'll try to not just say fight all the time. I like let's get at it. Let's keep at it. Let's get out there. Let's protest. Let's march. Let's not give up. I think fight is a shorthand for all of that when it's used metaphorically. But I think, and Hal knows that that's a metaphor, but he still doesn't like it. So, to each their own, I guess. But I do think the overall message, though, is that words do matter, and we should choose them wisely, especially when we're talking about politics and talking about trying to convince people. And that's one of the things he said. We said we need convincers and we need influencers, or I don't know if he said influencers, but I think he said convincers or something. And that's true. And if we're trying to get people, win people to our side, or we're trying to convince people of our arguments, maybe we should use more appropriate words other than just fight. Anyhow, I don't mean to go off on that tangent, but that's why I started late, because Hal was going off on that. Let me go down with the chat here. Go further down. We got Search for You is here. Hey, Search for You. Good to see you. Hopefully I'm coming in loud and clear. I'm holding the mic today instead of just setting it down. We got user-ph9wt3ue7c, otherwise known as William, is here. Good to see you, William. Belfast Bob was number one. Yeah, I already said that. Elizabeth Fernandez is here. Hello, Elizabeth. Elizabeth, good to see you. She says, howdy, Trucker John. You can call me Liz if you want to. All right. It's a lot easier. That's for sure. Not, faster. Just to say Liz. So I'll do that. And thanks for being here. I appreciate you. Search for You says, never dreamed I'd be a trucker. Snort. You're a truckler now. Belfast Bob says, TJ, come out wherever you are. Well, since I did title this as a Hal Sparks after show hangout, I really thought I should probably not start the show until Hal was over with. So I was waiting for Hal. Damon Dog, the big dog, is here. Hey, Damon Dog, good to see you. Thanks for coming on in. I hope things are going well for you over there. Wes Webb is here. Webby. Hey, Webby. Says, got a notification this time. Still listening to the bullshit song. Now, the bullshit song was the one, I think you're talking about the one that Hal was playing. Unless you're just saying that my songs are bullshit, but I was watching Hal too. Yeah, so I think that's what you're referring to. I think. The Lucky Minute is here. Hey, Lucky Minute, good to see you. Thanks for coming on into the old driver's lounge. I do appreciate you. Marie Jean Greco is here. Hey, Marie, good to see you. Bonnie Balcom is here. Hi, Bonnie. Good to see you too. Good to see you in here in the chat, in the chat room. Welcome to my chat room. Bonnie Balcom says Peter Thiel, I think it's pronounced Thiel. Giving a hard T to a TH always throws me. But anyhow, I believe it's Peter Thiel is building the surveillance state for Trump. Great. Belfast Bob says, is this in all blue states friends across the pond? Is this in all blue states? Not sure what that was referring to. What you're referring to. Bonnie Balcom says Putin can suck a banana. Unpeeled. Well, that was the emoji. Looks peeled. Damn Dog says I absolutely believe that, Bonnie, they're trying to turn DC into the first Freedom City. I don't know, is Freedom City a reference to a movie or something? Perhaps. Diamond Dog says yes, Democratic grand cities. When Belfast Bob was saying, is this in all blue states? Like, because I try to, I can't remember, like, when you guys are posting what's playing on the intro at the time, and that was probably about ICE being in the cities and stuff. Well, he wants to attack. Trump wants to. He's already said he's going to do San Francisco, New York, Chicago. All these basically democratically run cities and areas. Belfast Bob says already built till fine-tuned its dystopian future mixed with Lord of the Rings type shit. Bonnie Malcolm says I live in a blue majority city. Alton Gillespie is here. Hey, Alton, good to see you. Alton says from Paradise, Texas. Howdy, Trucker John and all. Hello, Alton Gillespie. Thanks for being here from Paradise. A little piece of paradise. Search for you. I haven't watched any news today. I haven't really. I just put the clips together, and I haven't really. And I was just had Hal playing in the background while I was doing that. It's about all I've had time to do. Scully Pop, hey Scully Pop, thanks for dropping on in. Good to see. Thanks for coming on in. If you're still here, I know it's been a while since you posted that, but you may have just popped in and popped out. I don't know. Nick Rich is here, like number 1133. So I am about 24 minutes behind wherever the end of the chat is, or the most recent chat. I'm 24 minutes behind the most recent chat. I should probably put it that way, in case people don't. I just assume people know what I'm talking about, or know what I mean, and it might not be as clear as I think it is. When I say I'm 20 minutes behind, people might go, 20 minutes behind what? What are you talking about? So yeah, I should probably emphasize that I'm 23 minutes behind the latest post in the chat. Just to clarify, I guess. David Dog, I love Jolly Ginger. Fuck ICE. Yeah, that dude. That's why I put his clip in there, just because he said fuck Trump, fuck ICE. I'm not watching is because Belfast was England. Oh, women rugby team done well yesterday, Sammy. Oh, you talk about rugby. I'm not thinking any of that. I'm not really watching that. The Lucky Minute says the thing about the fight is we are taught to obey, so fighting just seems natural. But I understand what he is saying. I don't know, but I'm getting hot, and I'm going to turn this. Get a little hot in here. Marty Malcolm says, honestly, Democrats should have seen this crap coming for the last 30 years. I think I've heard people, warning us about them coming for Roe v. Wade and stuff, and a lot of people were like, "Nah, they'll never do it," because then when they get it, then what will they have to run on? And I think I was one of those people, to be quite honest. I think I did say that. Now that I remember, I think I was one of the people saying, "What will they run on then? If they get rid of Roe, if they overturn Roe, they won't have anything to run on." But they still have plenty of stuff to run on, like abolishing gay marriage and stripping back civil rights, and I mean, they still have lots of stuff to tear up. Mr. Spock says, "Hey, Mr. Spock, by the way, live long and prosper." I can't do that at all with this hand. I mean, look at that. So I got to switch hands. At least I can somewhat do it with this one. Well, now I'm not even sure, but anyhow, live long and prosper. Mr. Spock says, "What happens when Republicans vote blue or not vote at all in Texas?" Well, then maybe we'll see some more Democrats get elected, I guess. Barney Balcom says, Frank Zappa and George Carlin talked at length about evangelicals and Republicans. Did George Carlin actually name Republicans? Because he seemed, at least most of the stuff that I see people post, it seems like he seems to be kind of nonpartisan about it, because I've seen both sides post his shit. I see Republicans and Democrats posting George Carlin, to reinforce their whatever their beliefs are or whatever. Barney Balcom says, "Will Melania decorate the White House for Christmas?" Probably in that weird fucking black and gray shit that she does. Belfast Bob says, Bonnie Heritage Foundation been at this since Reagan days, so should have took it more seriously. They weren't hiding it completely, just nip this, nip that, nip, and nobody stopped them. Well, I think it's pretty hard. I kind of stick up for the Democrats, I guess. I think it's kind of hard when people don't show up to vote, and then you don't get the numbers that you need. You can't do much. It kind of comes down to the voters. If they show up, when Democrats get in power, we do get stuff done. We got Family Leave Act with Clinton, and Clinton took us from, deficits to surpluses. And then I think Clinton ended up losing the Congress. And he was doing stuff just like Obama lost the Congress. Look, folks, if you want Democrats to do stuff, then you got to show up and vote. And you got to give the president the Congress that he needs. That's kind of like what Hal was also saying, to get the majority and get that 60 in the Senate. We want to get some stuff done. That's what we need to do. And I'm afraid not enough people realize that. That's why these midterms aren't just midterms. They are midterm congressional elections. And I think we need to always stick the word congressional in there. Hal was dying on the hill of not using the word fight. I'm going to die on the hill that we need to insert the word congressional whenever we talk about the midterms. I will die on that hill. When we talk about midterms, these aren't just midterms. These are midterm congressional elections. This is when the entire House of Representatives is being voted on, and this is when about a third of the Senate is being voted on. Every 2 years, we have midterm congressional. In fact, we should probably just even dump the word midterm and just call them congressional elections. Every 2 years, we have congressional elections, and I will die on. That's the hill I'm going to die on. Hal can die on the hill of not using the word fight, and I'm going to die on the hill of not using the word midterm and switching it out for congressional. These are congressional elections. We have them every 2 years. The House of Representatives is up for re-election every 2 years, and 1/3 of the Senate is up for re-election every 2 years. These are congressional elections, and that's the hill I'm going to die on. And we need to stop making it a low turnout thing. The biannual congressional elections should have just as big of a turnout, if not more so, than the presidential election. And if people want the promises that are made by the Democratic nominee, the Democratic candidate, and if the Democrat wins the White House, and you want those promises to be kept, then you better goddamn well go in and vote at the congressional level every 2 years and back that president with the Congress that he needs. That's all I got to say about that. David Dog, that nut scared my cat. I think I know what you're talking about with the image on the intro with Trump kind of in the background. When I forget which one was talking, but that was probably the most graphic picture of Trump's nut I've ever seen. If I had a nut warning label to put up, I would have done it. Nick Rich says, I took a dump and named it Trump. Flushed 15 times but left a lump. Now the septic needs a pump. Oh, that's a nice little poem there, Nick. Poetry at its finest. Hey, Jeff Hodge is here. Hey, Jeff, good to see you. Thanks for joining us in the chat today. Jeff says, Democrats have seen this crap coming for 30 years. At least. Mr. Spock says, easy way to deal with that when you see a rental truck pulling in. Tell them you've seen a bunch out back. Then you know, shenanigans. And the comedy will ensue. Chris Doug says, I am very encouraged by the growing content on social media of American voters with country accents and cowboy hats railing against Trump. Hey, there's Mary T, 33. Not sure if I've seen you before in here, but thank you so much for coming on in. Mary T says, what about ye, Trucker John? I don't know. I don't know what that even means. Nick Rich, 11:45. I'm 23 minutes behind the most recent chat post. I'm just not getting into the thumbs up, so I'm just not getting into the chat when I came on, and then I was having all the microphone issues that were my own fault. So skip through all that. David Windler says, John, welcome to your live stream. You good except for echo. Yeah, so that was when this mic wasn't even on. That was just so it is a little echoey if I don't have my $3.97 T-Mobile mic on. Diane Russell, hi TJ, I can hear you just fine. Thank you, Diane, for being here, by the way. Hope you're still here. Diane the Elder. Diane the moderator. Is here. Look at that, West Webb, $1.11 super chat. So for that, you get a yippee. Thank you, West Webb. And also, I do the thumbs up and I do the little heart. There you go. Wait. Damn. There you go. Thank you, West Webb. I do appreciate you. Thanks for that super chat. Got us 1/5 of the way on the goal. Got us started off. Bonnie Malcolm, old people problems? I don't know. I don't think so. Just stupidity problems. There's Aaron West. I'm not sure if I saw you in here or not earlier, but thanks. Oh, there's hello. So I think Aaron just got in after that super chat there. So thank you, Wes, and thank you, Aaron, for being here. Hey, there's Roxanne, 1979. Good to see you. Thanks for coming on in. Hope everything's going well. Hope you and Jen are having a great time. There's MJ Daniel from up there in Washington State. Says, don't get us old people started on old person problems, let me tell you. Wes Webb says it's a beautiful day in Rockford, Illinois. Nice breeze. Chases away the humidity. MJ Daniel says it's 94 here, which is up in Washington. No thanks. Yeah, up there, 94. It might as well be 104 or 150 for you guys. The lucky minute, I always say on my streams, when you stand up, you're standing up for someone that can't. Sandy Foltz, I just got here, done swimming. There's Sandy does the swimming. Sandy sent me a video the other day of swimming. So it's definitely not an indoor pool. It's outdoors and it looks very, very lovely, and the weather looked really nice and just perfect for a nice day of swimming. Chris Doug says we need to see more country, rural, southern, mountain, good old boys and girls turning on Trump, MAGA, and the rape Republicans. And if they could ever get the Epstein files out and into the public, and where things aren't so redacted or whatever, so we can see exactly what Donald Trump's involvement was, and if it shows that he was raping little girls or raping little boys or whatever, that will be the end. MAGA will leave him in droves. That's the one thing, like I said yesterday, that's the one thing that will do it. Having hookers pee on the bed that Obama slept in won't do it. They don't care about that. In fact, I don't even care about that. So why would they care about that? But raping little girls and little boys, that should do the trick. And that's why they are fighting tooth and nail. Speaking of fighting, tooth and nail to divorce Trump from the Epstein files as much as they can. Roxanne 79 says at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, the doodle puppy Daisy and her folks are coming over to make sure my place is puppy proof. Jim helped me get it together. She eats USB cords, all paper and sticks, plus get her used to me. All right. Yeah. Yeah, you don't want your USB cords getting chewed up. Diane Russell, resist vigorously? Yeah, I mean, the word fight and fighting, it's a shorthand. It's a metaphor. But I think Hal's argument is what is the image that it, when you use the word fighting, what is the image that it invokes? And maybe we should try to put different images in people's heads instead of fighting. And then, because what happens when people think about fighting, they get defensive, you know? So maybe instead of getting people defensive, maybe we need to think of ways to get people to be just more open to listening. You know, isn't that what we want? Isn't that we want the maggots or just anyone who thinks differently than us? If we are in some sort of an argument or a debate, or we're just having a conversation and it involves politics, aren't we hoping to get that person to just be receptive of our ideas and our ideology and our point of view? But if we use the word fight, then I think that does, even though it's a metaphor, it's still going to invoke images of fighting. It's going to put an image in your head of actual physical fighting, and it might subconsciously put that person in a sort of a defensive mode. And so, like I said, maybe we should, instead of being in that position, we should be in a position where people are just open to our ideas, open to listening. Maybe that doesn't mean that they're going to just change and go, oh yeah, okay, I'm on your side now. But at least you're able to plant seeds. And it's kind of hard to do that if they're defensive and they're able to block all the seeds you're throwing at them. I'm using lots of metaphors, I think, there. Anyhow, let me know if holding the mic is better than setting it down on the table. Owen, 11793 is here. Hey, Owen, good to see you. Says, I just stumbled across a bot farmer, Tom McDonald, some POS conservative creator. I never wanted to physically boo-boo in a man's mouth. I can no longer say that. I'm a fighter. I don't even know what a bot farmer is, actually. That's where I'm at in the scheme of things. In the overall scheme of things. Damon Dog says, if the puppy likes to chew cords, this is in reference to what Roxanne79 was saying. So Damon says, if the puppy likes to chew cords, I would try putting something tasty, something nasty tasting on some old cords and let him have at it. Negative reinforcement. Or just pick up your cords if you can, and maybe put some little rawhide chews down. Let him chew on the rawhide chews. Maybe. Caleb Guillory teal. Is that? I think I have it on all colors. Doesn't say now though. I think. I don't know. Anyhow, Wes Webb says I can only listen to Hal in short stints. Something about his voice just bothers me. Jesus, Wes Webb. That's not nice. That's not nice. I guess it's kind of like, no, I'm not going to say it. I was going to say something very mean and nasty, and I'm not going to say it. I'm just not going to do it. I'm just not going to go there. I'm not going to be the mean and nasty Trucker John today. No matter how much you might push me in that direction, Wes Webb, I'm not going to be the mean and nasty Trucker John today. I'm going to be the really nice, sweet Trucker John today. Now, next time might be a whole different story. Caleb Guillory says our power bills are higher because we are all paying power bills. The power bills for data centers in every state, mining Bitcoin for the wealthy. And I think we talked about that yesterday a little bit. David Dog, Freedom City is a corporation-ran city with a CEO instead of mayor. It's worth Googling. Oh, and oh God, please don't read my comment out loud. Then I will have to ask you to not comment, because that's what the show is. I read the comments out loud. I don't do all of them because of time restraints. But if that wasn't a factor, I would read every single one of them. That's what the show is. So just know that if you post something, it will get read out loud, or there's a possibility of it getting read out loud. Because that's the show, folks. You post, I read, and then sometimes it will kind of spur me on to a tangent or a rant or something. That's basically the show, folks. Right now we got 42 watch and 55 thumbs up. So like good Democrats, we are operating at a surplus. So I thank you very much for that. Wes said they don't have enough jail cells to arrest all of the homeless folks. Why should being homeless be like something you would get locked up for? Anyhow, it shouldn't be against the law to be homeless. It should be shameful that we have a government that doesn't help homeless people become unhomeless. I think that's the issue. In my humble opinion. Someone was talking about Scandinavian states yesterday. And what was it, Denmark and Norway and hullabaloo? I don't know. And there's other countries that I guess aren't Scandinavian. I guess they're more, I don't know what they are, but I think Finland and whatever. But shoot. And I forget all the different countries. There's I think there's Holland and Denmark. Is Holland and Denmark the same? That's how stupid I am about geography. But they have programs where they house people. They provide like free houses for people, and they have programs for people who have mental health issues or even physical health issues or just lack of training and education. They get people trained and educated. They get them into programs, whether it's any type of drug or alcohol programs or mental health programs, whatever it is, and they house them. Some of the places they'll be in a sort of like a group home or something, and then they get them into individual houses. That's their fucking goal. That's how they address homelessness. They treat their problems and they get them the resources and the help that they need. We don't do that here in America for most cases. We just want to either lock them up or ship them out to some other city and make that city, let them handle it. And that's wrong. I think that's wrong. Tiki Tony's here. Hey, Tiki Tony, good to see you. Thanks for coming on in and hanging out with us. I'm not sure if I've seen you before, so thank you for coming on in. DPD 5844 is here. Hey, DPD, good to see you. And DPD says Diana Russell is the precise reason why we don't have time for tones when speaking to people. That was before. We do not have time to debate the ramifications of the word fight. I think we got time. I think we got time. I mean, you know. The real Mozart. Hey, is here. Thanks for being here, Mozart. We will get to all your posts. Please be patient. Like I said, I don't do them all. But if you're posted on here, just know that there's a possibility that it will get read out loud. So if you don't want your post to be read out loud, then I suggest you don't post. Owen says we have the KKK masquerading as the conservative MAGA party. White Christian nationalism by any other name is the KKK. Yep. KKK, Nazis, pretty much the same. And that's what MAGA is a part of. MAGA, whether they know it or not, some of them, some of these maggots. Nick Rich, 12 noon in Vegas, so I'm 26 minutes behind the most recent chat that has been posted. I feel like I have to say that just to make it clear of what I mean. MJ Daniel, we have seen this coming and Americans did not listen. Diane Russell said, even Republican women said they would never overturn Roe. Belfast Bob says, sorry, TJ, my written English isn't great today. Shattered the far right and right wingers held mass anti-immigrant protests in most major cities and towns here, have been trolling them all night and day. Wow. I wonder if trolling could be another word for fighting, or another term for fighting. Really. There's Captain Trips. At Captain Trips -97W, who I've never seen before, says we don't need to run. We already run the presidency, the House, the Senate, or the House, the Senate, the popular vote, a supermajority in the whole country hates Democrats. First of all, you do need to run because you don't hold those seats forever. They have time limits, so you will have to run. You did win the presidency by 1.4% in the popular vote. That was certainly not a mandate. So you barely squeaked that out. The electoral vote, the states you won, the swing states that Trump won, were very, very close. All of them, very, very close. There were no blowouts. Okay, the Senate. Okay, we won the House, and the Senate, which you do have majorities there. Like I said, you won the popular vote by 1.4%. You don't have a supermajority. That is not a supermajority. The supermajority would be like in the Senate if you had, I think you have to have 67. Well, I don't know. How many do they have? I don't think, but, and I don't think the whole country hates Democrats, especially since there are more Democrats than there are Republicans. There are more registered Democrats than there are Republicans. And of independents or unaffiliated, those tend to lean Democratic. So Captain Trips, you're talking out your ass. But thank you for playing. Hey, John Glad's here. Glad to see John Glad. John Glad 5. Hi, finding out most of my friends, I think, are maggots. Life just gets worse every day. You're just now finding out? I mean, it took them a while to come out. Captain Trips, do you think a Socialist Party of America will break off from Democrat Party? First of all, there is no such thing as the Democrat Party that I know of. Maybe there is one somewhere, that it might be so small and insignificant, I've never heard of it. So I don't know anything about that. Never heard of the Democrat Party. Do you think a Socialist Party? Don't they already have a Socialist Party? Isn't there already the Socialist Party or a Socialist Party? I'm pretty sure we already have Socialist parties. So if they haven't broken off from whatever party it is you're talking about by now, I don't imagine it's going to change anytime soon. I'm pretty sure there is a Socialist Party of America already, and has had very little impact, I think, on anything, probably. Chris Doug says Carlin was very left-wing in the 60s and 70s. He became very anti-woke before he passed. Before he passed, I would say even probably the decade before he passed, the last 10 years of his life, he did seem to get a little more angrier and a little more bitter, a little more fed up. And a lot of his stuff was, I think, stuff that either side could take. You could take it either way. And that's why it kind of cracks me up when I'll see my sister, for instance, who is a right-winger, post something from Carlin, and I'll see maybe someone, a left-wing friend or a Democratic friend or something, post the same exact thing and take it to mean for whatever point they're trying to make. That's kind of what I was talking about. The real Mozart says Carlin wasn't so vain as to think he could actually change the way people use language. He just observed the way they did use language and commented on it. So was that sort of a backhanded stab against Hal? Are you trying to say Hal is vain and we're trying to change the way people use the word? Captain Trips, would America vote Democrat if the party was openly socialist? What do you think? Would they vote Democratic? Like, would they vote for Democrats? Well, like I said, they do in large part. The reason we don't see more House members is because of all their Republican gerrymandering. Let me put this down for a second. I guess you guys can still hear me. I do think that the word socialist doesn't have the same scary impact that maybe it once had. I think the Republicans have worn out that word and that tactic to try to scare people. Oh, here comes the scary socialist Democrats. It doesn't work anymore. And I think we can thank Bernie Sanders for that. Bernie Sanders is still, to this day, one of the most popular political people, political office holders, I guess, in the country. He and AOC just did a very successful, cross-country rally tour where they were packing people in, and they were getting Republicans in there and maggots in there, people who wanted to listen to them. They weren't there to start trouble. They were there to listen, and they were applauding. So the socialist word isn't as scary as it once was. So that's for one thing. But I don't think that's one thing. But also, I don't think that if you're talking about the Democratic Party and if you're talking about Democrats, in large part, they're not socialists. I'm a Democrat. I'm not a socialist. I do believe in social programs. I do believe in a social safety net. I do believe in government doing its job, its responsibility, carrying out its responsibility to help its citizens. If that's what you want to try to equate as being socialist, I don't think you really know what socialist is then. That's not really socialism, that's government. I believe in the government doing its job to take care of its people, and I think a social safety net is essential to that. But I know that people like you just want to use the word socialist as some sort of boogeyman, a boogeyman, trying to be all scary with the word. And I don't think people are. I think people are getting much more wise to that tactic. The real laws are Obama had supermajorities in both houses, passed Obamacare, and then said they couldn't do anything else, couldn't get Medicare at all. Obama had a supermajority for about a total of 63 days. He didn't have it through his whole term. He had it for about the first 63 days. That's why they were hurrying so fast, because they knew there were recounts and there was a challenge which is going to change the numbers. He did not have a supermajority. You make it sound as though he had a supermajority for the entirety of his two terms, and he did not. Look it up. Chris Doug says November 2026, Election Day will make or break our nation. The line is drawn in the sand. We either restore the Constitution or lose it. I also believe that this 2026 congressional election is a make or break moment. I agree. 2026 congressional election. We have them every 2 years. Chris Doug, our democracy does not need defense. Rather, we need defenders of democracy. Alvin Stube is here. Hey, Alvin, good to see you. Good to see you. Yeah, Kevin Anderson, 007 Kevin's here. Good to see you, Kevin. Um, Tiki Tony says, TJ, what do you think of Newsom's epic trolling account? I think it's effective. I think it's pretty awesome. I think it's working. It's definitely got Trump, pissed off and angry, and so from that standpoint, I like it. I mean, I think the whole point is to show how ridiculous that Trump is. It's mocking. Newsom is mocking Trump and just illustrating like how absurd it is that Trump can get away with it. Trump does all this shit, and he is now a second term president. He's won the presidency twice. No matter what we think about cheating or Russian influence and all that stuff, regardless, he's had the presidency twice now, and for some reason he gets a pass. Trump gets a pass on all this ridiculousness that he does, and I think that's what Newsom is pointing out. This double standard, because people are coming after Newsom and saying you're ridiculous, and you want to be president. If you want to be president, you're gonna need to be more serious and all this horseshit. Well, obviously not, because if Trump, if it's okay for Trump, then it should be okay for everyone. Captain, what's his face? Typical Democrat socialist on hair, begging for money. For one thing, learn how to spell. Number two, no one's begging for money. If people want to donate, they can donate, and that's fine and dandy. If they don't, that's fine and dandy too. All I ask of people is to hit the thumbs up and to subscribe, and those are free. Those are the things that I really ask for. If people want to donate, that's on them, and it's always appreciated. Don't get me wrong, it's appreciated, but it's never required. It's never ever required. Tiki Tony, I should also do a chore or two. Do your chores, but you can keep the show on and you can listen as you're doing your chores. It's getting really hot in here. I don't know why my AC isn't just. My AC just should be continuously running right now. I'm just skipping down in the chat a little bit. See if I can get caught up somewhat. Mr. Spock, moving to Montana. You're moving to Montana? I think more Democrats should move to Montana and Wyoming. We could turn those states blue with just a few, probably just 10 or 20,000 people, Democrats moving to those states. We could probably turn them blue. I was born in an area of California, the San Fernando Valley, that has more people in it than a whole number of states. Diane Russell says, I think Putin has those tapes, TJ, Trump raping underage girls, probably provided by Putin. So yeah, whatever it is, it's more than just the P tape. The P tape is nothing. Yeah, whatever it is that he's really afraid of, it would have to be more than a P tape. So if it is what you say, if Putin has tapes of Trump raping underage girls, then that would be more like why he would be so afraid. But I guess we can just use P tape as a shorthand. I don't know. One Vision says, laughing my ass off, Trucker John. That's all I got to say about the one more time. I think you got gut impression from damn near spot on. That's right. I got to pee. I do know what love is, Jenny. Mama always said life's like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. Oh, yeah. All the hits. All the Forrest Gump hits. DPD 5844 says, I would suggest asking our black and brown neighbors who have been kidnapped with due process and are thrown into consideration camps how they feel about word semantics. I think it's relevant. Is that why you made your paragraph so incorrect? Was it to make some point about relevance or something? Do you think if we said we got to fight ICE, that would cure the problem of ICE? Not adhering to any due process, racially profiling, and hauling people off to dark sites or whatever they're called, black sites. If we make sure to throw in the word fighting, that's gonna? You think that's gonna solve everything? Hey, look, take it up with fucking Hal, man. That's his fucking hill he's dying on. I'm dying on the congressional election hill. You got me on the wrong hill. Roxanne and TJ will never read how much he loves the San Francisco Giants. Jen loves the San Francisco Giants. Good for him. I know. He's a Giants fan. That's okay. I don't expect everyone to be a Dodgers fan. I can't expect everyone to have the taste and good breeding to be a Dodger fan. Just kidding, by the way. You like who you like. And usually people, I would say usually people like the team they like because that's the team they started watching when they were a kid. And it's usually the closest team to their house. Usually, not always. I know there are some people that grew up in LA and they're fucking Packers fans, and I don't get that. And there are people who grew up in California and they're fucking Steelers fans, and I really don't get it. Other than the fact that maybe I will cut someone a little slack. If you're a kid, like you're 10 years old, and the Steelers are winning Super Bowls every year, and so you make that your favorite team, I'll cut you some slack for that. But if you're a 30-year-old or a 40-year-old and you're just liking the Chiefs because they won a bunch of Super Bowls, and you're from Miami or something, then I'm gonna kind of call you out on that and go, you're just a fucking bandstand or whatever the term would be. But whatever, it's just sports, so I really don't get too worked up about it, about sports and shit. I follow sports. I like sports. I like football and I like baseball mainly. I don't really follow too much other than that because otherwise I would just be doing nothing but watching that. And there's other things I would rather watch besides just sports. So I've cut it down to where I pretty much watch football games on Sundays. That's my football watching day. And for baseball, I almost never watch full games anymore. I just almost always just watch the highlight clips after each game. Now, when I was driving the truck, since I had so much time, I would listen to the games. I was able to, I had the MLB app, and I'm able to listen to all the Dodger games. And so when I was driving, I probably listened to almost every single Dodger game over the last, 10 or 15 years or whatever. But since I've been off the road, I've hardly sat down and watched an entire game. I bet you in the last, almost 3 years, 2.5 years, where I sat and watched the whole game, maybe twice. So I usually just watch the highlights of every game and do it that way. Damon Dog says there are two major downsides to smoking weed. One, you have less weed. Two, I can't remember. Can't remember that other reason though. Roxanne says I'm about to see Daisy. I'll take pictures and post them. Be right back. All right, you go meet Daisy. I'm just sort of scrolling down a little bit here. See if there's something interesting. Wes Webb says, in a true democracy, you really want more than just a majority. No, that's what a democracy is. I think what you're talking about is a parliamentary system or something. I don't know. Nick Rich says some democracies have numerous political parties, not just two. Yeah, and that would be a parliamentary system. Diane Russell says we do have third parties, Nick Rich, but they don't have enough people in them to really make a difference. Yeah, we can really only support two major parties at a time. But we do have lots of other parties, that's true. So if people want some other party to emerge, then I guess they need to join that party and promote that party and get other people to join that party. And push it up into prominence. But it's hard. I mean, probably the third most, in terms of, I guess, membership, is probably the Libertarian Party. They're probably the third biggest party. They do get some of their candidates through in more local elections. That's kind of where you got to start. I think it's at the local level, the grassroots level. And so you do see some Green Party. That's another one at some of the more local levels, or even the state level, and libertarians. And there's a few here and there sprinkled out throughout the country of other parties. But in order to be on the main stage, you're going to need tens of millions of members, and you're going to start having to win elections at the federal level. By that I mean the congressional elections, the House of Representatives, the Senate, before you can really ever have a serious run at the White House, I would think. That's why Bernie Sanders, he's an independent, but when he ran for president, both times, he became a Democrat. because he knew he couldn't do it just as an independent. Captain Trips says, stay tuned. More Republican gerrymander is coming. One state down, 19 to go. And stay tuned. Illinois, New York, New Jersey have all said that they will do things like California. And those are California and New York and Illinois, I think, are the three biggest states in terms of voters and all that. So I think that the Democrats can pretty much nullify whatever the Republicans are going to try to do in terms of gerrymandering for 2026 and 2028 for that matter. Aaron West says, where is Vegas? Vegas. Nick Rich says, this is getting intense. I kind of skipped a bunch of stuff. Did I skip over the intense stuff? Damon Dog says, I'm back. I added a few photos of my glass pipe collection on my YouTube. Trucker John is in the last two reflections from TV and back mirror. Well, now I got to check them out because if I'm involved, if I'm in it, then I want to check it out. Politech is here. Hey, Politech, good to see you. Politech says 2026 assignment turned purple, blue, and red, purple. Exactly. And keep blue, blue. Don't lose any blue. Turn purple, blue. Turn red, purple. I've heard Hal say that many times, and I agree. I agree. Wes Webb says, Gavin can't keep it going. The Aunt Nancy money will go dry. That's so stupid. Gavin Newsom is probably raising so much money off of this whole thing that he's doing. He will have enough money to run for 10 presidencies. You know, his approval rating or his poll numbers of Californians wanted him to be the nominee, the Democrat nominee, went from 25% Californians being in favor of that to 75%. And I'm sure, and I didn't see as far as campaign what they've raised for the campaign or if he's raised any money. I don't even know if he has. Actually, I don't even know if he has anything right now because he hasn't really actually declared. But Gavin Newsom is going to get all the money he needs. And I don't know what this Aunt Nancy bullshit is. You know, Wes Webb having to come in here and spread horse shit. You're worse than the troll that we have in here right now. I guess you're trying to out-troll the troll. But Gavin Newsom, his popularity numbers have shot up and gone through the roof just in the last month. And I'm sure that's going to translate very well into into campaign finance. You know what? I think I'm going to tape this on. I think. Well, you know what? See, the thing about it, I'm afraid I don't want to hit that button. Button. Who has the button? Yeah. I just wanted to sort of extend this so I don't have to have my hand like so far up. Anyhow, hopefully you guys can still hear me. West Webb, how long can Aunt Nancy's PAC money last? West Webb, like I said, Gavin Newsom is not going to have any trouble with campaign finance. None whatsoever. For Event 28 is here. It shows how stupid in America the electorate is. There's a lot of stupidity. There's a lot of ignorance. There's a lot of apathy. There's a lot of misinformation. The misinformation campaign by the Russians primarily, but also other countries, outside influences, cannot be overlooked. It really should not be overlooked. That plays a huge part in what's going on, especially from 2016 on. Roger Dodger's here. Hey, Roger Dodger, good to see you. Thanks for coming on in to the old driver's lounge. I do appreciate you. Roger Dodger says, yeah, centrist Democrats hate fighting too. They lost all three branches of government doing that. I guess this really is the Hal Sparks after show. Yeah, that's what the title is. Who are the centrist Democrats, by the way? Who are the centrists that you speak of, and what did they not do that they should have done? Because I think they were all trying to get reelected. MJ Daniel, I will just be happy if Seattle makes it into the playoffs for the second time since 2001. Damon Dog said, one Trucker John gift membership. Thank you, Damon Dog. And for that, you get a yippee. I do appreciate you for doing that. And Rosanna21 received that. So hopefully Rosanna will come back in. I haven't seen Rosanna in a while. Hopefully Rosanna will come on in, hang out with us for a bit. So thank you, Damon Dog. I appreciate you. Diane Russell says, saw this on News Nation Now. ICE says Kilmar Obrego Garcia could be deported to Uganda. Like that dude said, fuck ICE. Here's Wes Webb with a $2.22 super chat. Thank you so much, Wes Webb. Yippee. Going out to you. There's your thumbs up, and there's the heart. In honor of Dog, I'm renaming Damon to Blue. What? MJ Daniel says, Gnome says they will paint the border wall black because DJT thinks it will make it too hot to climb over. Dumbest fucking person to ever sit in the Oval Office. For one thing, they don't need to climb over it. They just go around it. They dig tunnels. They go under. They just go around to the end where it ends because it doesn't go, all the way. Or they'll just. There were some people. The slats were so far apart. I think there was videos of them just walking right through the slats. Captain Trips, for the last time, America is not a democracy. It's a constitutional republic based on democratic values. Captain Trips. If I want to call it a democracy, I'll goddamn well call it a democracy. So fuck you. Diane Russell says, I'm a lifelong San Francisco Giants fan, but you are right, TJ. It's just sports, so enjoy. Yeah. I think some people take it way too seriously, Way too seriously. I noticed it with this chair, after a while, I get very comfortable and I get very, a little too comfortable, and I start getting all, I'm leaning back, and I'm like, maybe that's not the best thing I should do. I don't know. I'm getting very comfortable in this chair. MJ Daniel says, if a third-party candidate was better, I would vote for them, at least in the primary. Right, and that's the thing. In the primaries, you can vote for the one you love, but in the general election, you need to get in line and vote for, well, I'm a Democrat, so I will always vote for the Democratic nominee. But I like I've said, in 2016, I voted for Bernie in the primary. Was only too happy to vote for Hillary in the general. I had no qualms whatsoever. I didn't even have to hold my nose. Okay, like some people go, I held my nose and voted for Hillary. I did not need to hold my nose, even though I voted for Bernie in the primary. 2020, I voted for Elizabeth Warren in the primary. In the general, I voted for Joe, and I did not hold my nose then either. Had no problem. Once Joe won the nomination, I had no problem with that. If I was backing a third-party candidate in the primary, and more than likely that person is not going to win. Well, that person wouldn't be really on the primary. That person is going to just be in the general, unless that party has. I mean, they do have, like the libertarians and stuff. I think they do have a primary process, or they do have their own thing, but they're not really. It's different than the national campaigns. So it's a little bit different. But when it came down to the general election, since I'm a registered Democrat and I'm a lifelong Democrat, it's a little hard for me to imagine that scenario. But I guess I would have to be probably, an unaffiliated with any party to even be in that situation, you know. So if there was some third party candidate that I thought was really, really good, but if I voted for that person, and let's say, so you've got the Republican nominee, you've got the Democratic nominee, and then let's say my guy is a third party person, and maybe that guy is better, that guy or gal, maybe that person is better, would be better, but they still don't have a chance in hell, really, of winning. And if my vote takes away from the Democrat getting a vote, I would hope that I would say, you know what, I'm going to vote for the Democrat, because even though my guy is really good, my guy doesn't have a chance in fucking hell. And I don't want to take away from votes from the Democrat, because I sure as fuck don't want a Republican in there. That's how I would be thinking, I think. Hey, Teresa TAK is here. Good to see Teresa. Thanks for coming on by. I do appreciate you. Appreciate you coming on in and hanging out with us for a bit. Good to see you. I haven't seen you in a while. Whoops. Just skipping down a little bit. Trying to get caught up with the chat somewhat. We've got Rap Hack to literal. Wait, ticket rap to literal. Refect it to literal. I don't know if I'm saying that right. I don't know, but anyhow, you know who I'm talking about. It says 4 weeks and 4 days until the Feast of Trumpets on 9/23, featuring new moon, start of fall season, baptism of a leader at the last Trump, baptism of a leader at the last Trump unpeace, and leading to Daniel's 70th week. Wow. Man, I regret even reading that. I have no idea what that even means. No idea what that means. Just shows how different people can be, because I have no idea what that's about, nor do I really even care. I don't even care to even learn what that means, if you want to know the truth. It just sounds like a bunch of hogwash to me, but hey, I don't want to yuck anyone's yum. I don't, whatever that was about. If you're, apparently it's very important to you, and so have at it. MJ Daniel says, because this is about winning enough state majorities in order to change the entire U.S. Constitution, which makes it more important than ever for Democrats to get back to Congress and Senate. Yeah, I know the Republicans have been they've been claiming to want to hold another a constitutional convention and rewrite it. They've been talking about that for a long time too. Earlier people were saying, yeah, we've known this for 30 years. That's another thing we've known, that they've been wanting to do this rewrite of the Constitution. So, like MJ says, another really important reason why we need to get back the House and Senate and stop them from all that nonsense. From the nonsense. Stop the nonsense. Oh. Why did it look like a red light flashing? But when I look at it, I don't see a red light. I just see a green light. You guys see a green light or a red light? Let's see. Oh, that is so weird. On the screen, it looks red, but in real life, it's totally green. There's no red whatsoever on my microphone. It's a little green light. But on the screen, both on my phone screen and on my iPad screen, it looks red. But it's not red. In real life, it's green. That's weird. Now that's what I call weird. Wake me up before you go. And I just saw something about Wes falling asleep. So that's why I did that. That's why I did that, what I did. Nick Rich says, if you voted with the GOP on anything, you fucked up. I agree. Diane Russell says audio is great. Yeah, I think holding the mic closer to my mouth is probably the way to go, you know. Wes Webb says the Democrats are the blue dogs. No, there are Democrats. There are people within the Democratic Party that might be labeled a blue dog, but not all Democrats are blue dogs. Their family names are foreign. People vote Republican. The race is in the spring. Boy, talk about a bunch of gobbledygook hogwash. One Vision says the only time ice is good is in tea when it's 100 plus in Vegas. Long Island iced tea is also acceptable. Hear, hear. I agree. Nick Rich says John gets so far behind he loses track when he skips ahead. 107. Yeah, so I'm actually I think I'm 9 minutes behind the most recent posted chat. Chris Doug, a true democracy would mean that every citizen would vote on every issue put forward, policy, expenditures, taxation, defense, etc. One citizen, one vote. Yeah, so what? I understand all that. I understand. We are a republic. We are a representative. We vote for our representatives democratically. All right? You know, democracy is not a dirty word, guys. Let's not make democracy a dirty word, because it's not. Hey, Robert Perez is here. Good from old San Diego way. Good to see you, Bob Perez, 1249, otherwise known as Robert Perez. Thanks for coming on in, hanging out with us for a bit. Hey, Marcia's here. Good to see Marcia. Thanks for coming on in and joining us for a bit. Marcia says, I still don't see what good you see in W. Seriously, I don't. I respect you a lot. Going back to lurking mode due to W had news but not sharing it now. Oh, Marcia had news but not sharing it now because of you, W. Mr. Bob Newell is here. This show is like watching Groundhog Day again. It was a great movie. I love Bill Murray. I love Bill Murray. MJ Daniel, I voted Bernie in all the primaries, but I'm not nuts. Hillary and Kamala were both very obviously better choice, as we are seeing right now. I would submit that probably even the bluest of the blue dog Democrat would be better than any Republican. I can't think of any Republican that I would think would be a good president. I can't think of one. Roger Dodger, Hillary and Kamala were both nominated and lost. How were they better somehow than Bernie? I think what if you're talking about MJ Daniels' post when he said they were both obviously the better choice. The way I took that to mean they're the better choice than Trump. But and I think they obviously were. I think that's how I took it. So, Marsha says, "Hello, Trucker John. Going back to lurking mode. Yes, I hit the like. Thank you, Marsha. Thank you for hitting that like button. I appreciate you. We got 44 watching. We got 70 likes. So we are like talk about super majorities. We're like a super majority Democratic Party here. We have a huge surplus. It's a huge surplus of likes. But let's keep adding to it. Roger Dodger. Okay. That is mere opinion, but history will show Hillary and Kamala as having lost the election, not Bernie. Not Bernie, because the DNC, aka Pelosi and company, refused to run him. They didn't run him because he didn't win. Hillary Clinton won the primaries. How could they run Bernie? We had the primary process and Hillary won the primary. How are they going to run Bernie? What the hell are you talking about? What are you talking about? Bernie lost to Hillary Clinton. Fair and square. Diane Russell says, if the majority voters wanted Bernie, they would have elected him. DMC be damned. And I'll just add, if he had won the primary, the DNC would have fucking, what did you say? Carry him or whatever? Run him? Of course they would have run him. He didn't win. He didn't get the delegates. It's about getting delegates in the primaries. Hillary Clinton got the delegates. That's how it goes. That's how it always goes. That's how it's always been. Not always, but since they started with that delegate thing, like 50 years ago, or whatever it was. And Diane Russell says, and it does no good to keep rehashing the 2016 election. We got stuck with Trump, so please stop your whining. Exactly. I agree, Diane. We are in 2025, and now, it's good to know it's good to know history. Like they say, those who don't know history are doomed to repeat it. It's good to know history. It's good to learn from our mistakes. So from that aspect, I'm not saying we should just forget everything, but we need to learn from our mistakes, whatever they were. But to continually bringing up this thing about how Bernie would have won, you don't know if Bernie would have won. No one knows. You could think that maybe he would have won instead of Hillary because Bernie didn't have a laugh that people didn't like. That's how our presidents are getting elected or not elected now. Is if someone has a, God forbid, a laugh you don't like. Forget what the policies are. Fuck that. What your policy positions are. But because they don't like the way a woman laughs, they're going to elect a fucking pedophile. If all the Bernie bros had said, okay, our guy didn't he's not the nominee. Okay, we're going to join with you, Hillary, and we're going to vote for you. We're going to throw our votes in with you because we know that Donald Trump is despicable. He's a horrible human being and has no right being anywhere near the levers of power. So we will join up with Hillary. If they had done that, then we wouldn't be where we are right now. But no, all the Bernie bros got to get all butthurt, and a lot of them voted for Trump. They said, I'll show you, and they voted for Trump. So I'm not saying, Roger Dodger, that you're one of those, but to those Bernie bros that turned around and voted for Trump in 2016, go fuck yourselves. You're fucking assholes. You're dumb shit assholes. And it just proves you don't care about constitutional republic. You care more about yourselves, and you got all butthurt because Bernie didn't get the fucking nomination. So you voted for Trump. The ones that did that, seriously, go fuck yourselves. Music of the World is here. Hey, Music, good to see you. Music of the World says Mickey Kaus? Mickey Kaus might be the closest thing to a Republican who could be an acceptable president. Who the fuck is Mickey Kaus? Mickey Kaus. I think it also might help if you know who the fucking person is. Have some kind of name recognition. I have no idea who Mickey Kaus is. Or did you mean Mickey Mouse? I don't know. And is Mickey Mouse a Republican? Marsha with a $1.49 super sticker. Thank you so much, Marsha. Yippee to Marsha. I do appreciate you for helping out the show, as always. Chris Doug says, we elect legislature to represent our best interest. How's that going for y'all lately? Well, I don't know if I even understand that rhetorical question. It depends on the voters, the voter turnout. And of course, there is heavy gerrymandering when it comes to the House of Representatives. That doesn't bode well for Democrats in places like Texas and other places around the world, around the country, not around the world, around the country. So that, the deck could be stacked against us on that. But yeah, elections have consequences. People got to vote. And we're seeing the consequences of our vote right now. Mr. Spock says everyone should be basic center and work out from there. I don't know. I really don't care about center and left and right. I really don't give a shit about any of that. I don't give a fucking shit. I really don't. I care about the issues. And I don't really understand why there is, even amongst the Democratic Party, I know we're this big tent party or whatever, but I don't really understand, I think everyone, at least in the Democratic Party, should all be pro women's choice, should all be pro national health care, whether you want to call it Medicare for all or universal single payer. I think all Democrats should be for that. I think all Democrats should be in favor of getting us off of fossil fuels and getting us more and more into green renewable energy. I think all Democrats should be for raising wages for working class people, raising minimum wage. I mean, these are basic platform planks. I think I really haven't. I don't know if I've read the updated platform, but these are kind of like major plank things, and there's probably a few more that I could list. But all Democrats, whether you're a blue dog, whether you're a moderate, whether you're a centrist, whether you're a progressive, whether you're a leftist, whatever the fuck that is, those major plank items should not even be in question. Those should all be, what all Democrats believe in, those basic 4 or 5 tenets of the platform. So I don't understand why there's such a I don't know. People claim there's such this disagreement or upheaval or whatever amongst the Democrat Party, and actually, I don't think there is that much. I think a lot of these criticisms are coming from outside the party. Okay, I'm just skipping down a little bit. Chris Duck says Bernie won many primaries. He did, but he didn't win enough. Anyhow, let me finish your thing here. It says, Bernie won many primaries and caucuses. The mainstream media turned on him and promoted Hillary over Bernie. Well, boo fuckity who. That has nothing to do with the DNC not running him, as you put it. Okay, the media is going to do what the media is going to do, and you're going to cry that they didn't promote Bernie. I told you, I have a Bernie T-shirt somewhere. I voted for fucking Bernie. I saw Bernie. I saw his rallies. I saw him all over the fucking news. So don't give me this shit that they didn't promote him. He was all over the fucking place, and he won a lot of primaries and caucuses, but he didn't win enough because it's simple math. You can see the totals, and you can see the delegates that they were collecting, and she beat him. I don't know why that's so hard to comprehend or to accept, other than you're still in denial 8 years later, 9 years later, whatever the fuck. How many years has it been already? God, it seems like forever now. You're still in denial and still crying about Bernie. Time to move on. MoveOn.org, man. Hashtag MoveOn.org. It's time to move on and just concentrate on getting Democrats elected. I don't give a fuck. And I don't give a fuck if they're a moderate or a centrist. I don't care if they're a flaming liberal, progressive, AOC, whatever it is, whatever it takes. It's different all over the country. AOC is not going to win in Wyoming or whatever. There's whatever it takes. We just need to get Democrats fucking elected. Like whoever it was that said, red to purple and purple to purple, whatever it was. Enough of this fucking backbiting and division. Okay, your guy lost. Now, put on your big boy pants and then support the party nominee. Chris Doug, liberal MSNBC mocked Sanders and sucked up to Hillary. MSNBC, even if what you say is true, how much influence do you think MSNBC has on the American electorate? More people watch the ABC and the CBS and the NBC nightly news by far than whoever watches MSNBC. So if you're basing that on that, I don't think you have much room to stand on, or much of a leg to stand on, or whatever that saying is. Chris Doug, Bernie could have won him, but everyone needs to move on. You need to move on. This isn't 2016 anymore, dude. This is 2025. Yes, you need to move on. And Bernie's not running anymore. He's old. He's way old. And he says he's not going to. He's done running. He tried twice, and he failed twice. Yes, move on. Jesus Christ. What's this? BFL Tunes is here. It says, why would any Bernie bro vote for Trump? I don't know. Ask them. Maybe they just wanted a president who would shake things up and didn't care who or how. Well, now it's FAFO time, isn't it? Fuck around and find out. You want to fuck around with your vote and just vote some fucking asshole because he's going to shake things up? Some fucking rapist, felon, pedophile motherfucker to be your president just because you think he's going to shake things up? Well, then you're gonna fuck around like that. You're gonna find out, and now we're finding out. Now we're finding out. Chris Doug, no offense to women or minorities, but the next Democratic running for president has to be a white male. I disagree. I disagree. That's defeatist thinking. I don't think we need that type of thinking. Let's let the primary process play itself out. But I don't think we need to lock ourselves into that room where it has to be a white male. Now I'm a big Gavin Newsom fan, and I've been saying for a while now he would be. I think he would be a great president. I think he has a great shot at being the nominee, and he's a white guy. But it doesn't have to be Gavin Newsom. It doesn't have to be a white guy. We'll have to see how it plays out. I mean, if Hillary Clinton beat Trump in the popular vote by over 3 million votes, and Kamala Harris, who had about 4 months to run, very narrowly, just by a few thousand votes, lost to Trump, 1.4% in the popular vote. I don't think we're so far away. We talk about misogyny, we talk about that, and that was definitely a factor in both Hillary and Kamala losing. That's a factor. But like I said, Hillary got 3 million more votes. Kamala just, I don't know, a couple 100,000 votes less or something, 1.4%. I don't think we're that far off that we have to say now we can only elect white guys. That's it. We've already elected Obama. Kamala and Hillary showed that they got votes. Hillary got a lot of votes. So I don't think we need to be there. I just don't. So I disagree respectfully, Chris Doug. I appreciate you being here. Can you guys hear me now? How long did that happen? Test, 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 test. Okay. Oh, wow. All right, guys. I don't know how long that happened. I was saying some, you know, stuff that you guys, I wish you guys would have heard. But I'm sure everything I just said, no audio, no audio. Why the fuck did it do that? It shouldn't have done that. I don't know if it's because I taped the fucking thing to it. I don't think it was pushing the button down. I don't know what happened, guys. I guess it was for the, you guys says it was 20 seconds. I mean, this thing usually goes like 3 hours, and I've been on for 2 hours and 16 minutes. But maybe at the beginning I was like turning it on, turning it off, turning it on, turning it off. You know, I was trying to figure out how to attach the chopstick to it. Maybe all that on and off stuff did something. You know, made it use up the battery more or something. Like faster than usual, maybe? I don't know. I don't know. All right, guys. Yeah, we are over 2 hours, and before my phone goes dead, I should probably hire a tuner. That has nothing to do with it. Not that I'm, you know, a technical wizard, because I'm not. It has nothing to do with being old. It has nothing to do. I am old, and I'm not a tech wizard, but I don't think that has anything to do with it. For some reason, the battery went dead sooner than usual. And like I said, I think it might have been because I was maybe turning it on and off, which I never do. Usually, once the show starts, but you know, this thing just, I don't even mess with this thing. But yeah, I know you're trying to you know, put a dig in there that I'm old and stupid, which may be the case, but that doesn't pertain to this situation here. All right, guys. I think we had some interesting back and forth there. Hopefully, Chris Doug will come back on the next show. I don't know if he left. Hopefully, he'll come back. I do have a history of chasing away people if I get a little strong in my opinions. Hopefully not in this case. Anyhow, guys, thanks for hanging out with me. Thanks for hanging out after Hal Sparks Show today. I'll be back on Monday at Captain Troops. No dig, I'm old. Like I said, I'm old too, but I don't think that this is an age-related problem. I think it's something else. Anyhow, I'll be back on Monday at 11 a.m. It'll be another Hal Sparks post-show hangout. But I usually don't title it as such. I usually only title that on Saturdays. For whatever reason. I don't know. But just know, most of my shows that come on at 11 a.m. are Hal Sparks post-show hangouts. Because a lot of you folks are sparklers. A lot of you aren't. We got Captain Trips. I don't think Captain Trip is a sparkler. And Captain Trip, thanks for being here. You're welcome back. I know, I think we might be on opposing sides of the political spectrum or whatever, but you're welcome back. You did seem to be pretty respectful, other than, you know, the old digs, but that's okay. I don't mind that. But, you know, everyone's welcome back. Even Wes is welcome back. Roxanne says Daisy gave a seal of approval. What, did she pee on the carpet or what? Belfast Bob, hey, bye TJ, chat and mods for tonight. I fight, laughing out loud, fascist, off our streets, stay good and safe. Fight, fight, fight. Anna Moore says, TJ, do you think Liz Cheney would be a good candidate to run in the Republican ticket? I don't think she has a chance in hell. I think she's persona non grata with Republicans nowadays. I think she's done. And I don't even like her. I mean, I liked how she stood up to Trump. I appreciate that. But the only reason she did that is because Trump hates her and hates Cheney. I mean, I don't think they've ever gotten along. So she stood up against him. Good for her. I guess it cost her seat, and it probably cost her any future she has in politics. I think but who knows? I mean, there was a time when people thought Nixon was done, and he came back and became president. So, you never know. But I'll let the Republicans worry about their shit, and let's just try to. I just want to focus on getting Democrats elected as much as possible, and like we say, turning red districts or red states purple, and turning purple ones blue, and keeping the blue ones that we have, keeping them blue. And Aaron West is back. Thanks for coming back. But yeah, I don't know. I just think Liz Cheney's done, but maybe not. Maybe not. I mean, when Trump is finally done, one way or the other, and he's not in office and he's out of politics, one way or the other, they are going to be scrambling. The Republican Party is going to be scrambling to find its new face. And what are they going to do? Are they going to get even more? I don't know how. I don't want to challenge them. I'm not sure how worse they could get in terms of fascism and tyranny they could get, I'm sure they could get even worse. But are they going to continue in that direction, or are they going to try to completely rebrand and get to be more of the old-fashioned Republicans or whatever? I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But there's going to be a scramble for that next, for what comes after Trump. Who knows? Search for You says, I would never vote for a Republican. I never have, and I won't ever. I'm a lifelong Democrat, I'm proud of it. And I think our record stands for itself. I know we want to put down Democrats and shit on them for not doing enough. But overall, when you look at the stark differences between the Republican administrations and how they tank economies, inflation goes up, unemployment goes up, GDP goes down, all that shit. And every time Democrats get in there, they clean up the mess, they turn it around. Inflation goes down, GDP goes up, unemployment goes down, wages go up. Every single time we have this back and forth between Republicans and Democratic administrations. So just going on that alone, that should be enough. I would think that would be enough to motivate people to want to vote for Democrats. Don't you want higher wages? Don't you want lower inflation? Don't you want lower unemployment? Don't you want an economy that's the envy of the world like we had under Biden? So I don't really understand why those things aren't enough to motivate people, other than that they just don't get that information. And they're told through the right-wing media of how shitty the economy is. Under Biden, that's all we heard. This is a shitty economy. And really, it was the best economy in the world. And it was some of the best economic numbers that we've seen in half a century or more. So, I don't know. One Vision says, Trucker John, I don't agree with everyone on everything, but Wes Webb is respectful. All right, we'll keep him. I guess we'll keep him in here, One Vision. We'll keep old Wes Webb in here. All right, guys, thanks for watching. You guys have been fun today. Thanks for putting up with some of my issues here, the mic issues. Can you guys hear the AC now? Because I got the AC going. I'm not on the little mic. I'm not on the lavalier. I'm on the. I guess it's the iPad mic. No, it's the phone mic. Yeah, it's the phone mic. I'm on that now. So where was I at? Oh yeah, I'll see you guys Monday, 11 a.m. Pacific time, right after Hal Sparks. You guys have the great rest of your weekend. Try your best. If you happen to be a person with brown skin, I suggest maybe staying indoors. I don't know what to tell you, man. ICE is coming for you. They are racially profiling. I don't know, man. It's awful. It's horrible. It is horrible. What's going on, you know? Yeah, and for all the cookies out there, be careful, because I heard they're grabbing cookies left and right. You know, you're just walking along doing your own thing, and all of a sudden someone just snatches you up, and they're trying to dip you in a glass of milk or something, and I'm like, whoa, dude, hands off of this cookie. That's why I'm intentionally as hard and crusty as I can be, so that if anyone does try to bite into me, they're going to break their teeth off. That's what I'm thinking. That's my strategy, anyhow. So, but just be careful out there, folks. It's getting dangerous. All right? And also, thank you guys so much for being here. I might be a little crusty, but I'm also very grateful for you guys. All right? As well as am I. And I heard a lot of purple talk today in the chat. It's always nice to hear purple come up. Oh, wait, you guys were talking about votes and like blue and red and making a red state purple. Well, hey, I'm all for it. The more purple states, the better. Granted, if we had more blue states, that would be better, but blue's better than red, so let's keep it going. Let's just keep it going. Let's vote and make the red states purple. Purple's good. And also, have you guys subscribed? Trucker John, he told me that if he gets to 4,000 subscribers, he will eat a dandelion. Have you guys heard that one yet? If he gets to 4,000, he'll eat a dandelion right on the live stream. And right now he's at 3,955, I think. So let's do that. Let's get those subs coming in. Make sure we sub. Now, to the one poster who made a comment about like Trucker John begs for money and stuff like that. I've never heard him beg for money, but I have heard him beg for subscribers. He does do that quite often. And so I'll help him out a little bit, and please subscribe. I'm begging you. All right. Thanks, guys, for being here. You guys are awesome. All right. Wow, those guys popped in unexpectedly. Sometimes I even forget they're here. They're so quiet. They're like little church mouses. Yeah, guys, thanks for being here. And I'll see you guys on Monday. Only thing left to do today is words of wisdom, and I'll do that right now. Now we were having some mic issues earlier. I hope we don't have mic issues today. Go ahead and make sure you. I was just looking at something. Make sure you guys get pencil and paper to write this down. Okay, today's words of wisdom for this Saturday. Hal Sparks after show hangout. Here we go. All right, so guys, just.
Well, it's time to say goodbye. The show has come to an end. But don't be sad, no, don't you cry. We're all gonna come back and meet again. Have some fun times, hopefully nothing too bad. We might talk about war crimes, might talk about Baghdad. I doubt we'll talk about door chimes, but if we did, I'd be only too glad. So hasta la vista, baby. The show is over, but could I ask you maybe to take a shower? No, that's not what I meant, but I couldn't think of anything to rhyme with over. Now my whole rhyming scheme is all screwed up. Oh shit, I should have stuck to truck driving, who I tried to kid. At least when I was out there driving, I could handle a skid. But doing this live stream, baby, has been a real kid. So I hope to see y'all again right here on the Trucker John live stream. We're gonna do it again and again, right here in the Trucker John live stream. Yeah, the Trucker John live stream. We're gonna come back and do it all again. No, this ain't no dream. This is where we win, right here on the Trucker John live stream. No, this time to say goodbye. The show is coming in. But don't be sad, no, don't you cry. We're all gonna come back and meet again. Rolling down the highway in my rusty old rig. I'm a retired trucker, but my spirit's still big. Living in Vegas, where the lights never sleep. Broadcasting my thoughts for the world to keep. From politics to pop culture, I've got it all. Sharing my views, no matter how big or small. Talking about food and movies and bugs, shining a light on all the social issues. No shrugs, I've driven through the desert, seen the city so bright. But now I'm living in a different kind of fight. From my apartment in Las Vegas, I hold the key, exploring the world through my live stream for free. In my apartment in Las Vegas, I hold the key, exploring the world through my live stream for free. take a trip down Paradise Road, but it ain't that pretty, it ain't paved with gold. Everybody's got the dirty little secrets, everybody's got some things unknown. But if you ain't real careful, baby, it'll cut you down to the bone. Under all those bright lights, you've gotta learn to ignore the glitter. It's all about fight or flight, and you don't wanna do either. So go on down to Paradise Road, it'll make you wish that you were young. But all it'll do is make you feel old and regret trading in your love for lust. It's all just a big charade, it's all just one big game, and it ain't about love, it's all about the thrills. It's about staying in the hunt, it's about going in for the kill. So head on down to Paradise Road, that's where your friends are now. They're the people that nobody knows. So go ahead and make your big show. So live it up on Paradise Road, just don't let anyone know. It'll be your dirty little secret, it'll be your guilty little pleasure. Living a secret that the whole world sees, hiding in plain sight among the scum and the thieves. It's so damn hard to ever be pleased. Everyone wants to live the good life, everybody wants a piece of paradise. But where would you run? Where would you hide? What would you do to buy a little more time? Grandiose dreams of happily ever after are really just another day's end. And when the sun goes down, you just lay there wondering, can you really do it all again? You're praying for one last shot, you're hoping for one last big win. Paradise Road is calling, so you better hurry along. Paradise Road is calling, so you better hurry along.